Hello, and thank you for your interest in Generations United Intergenerational Program Certification. I'm Sherry Steinig with Generations United, and I'm going to walk you through what reviewers look for and how to put together a strong application. Whether you're applying for Program of Merit or Program of Distinction, we're excited to learn more about your program and the meaningful work you're doing to bring generations together. Rather than reading through every question, we'll focus on what reviewers are trying to understand, where applicants sometimes leave important information out, and how you can make your program's strengths clear. One important thing to remember throughout the application is that reviewers only know what you tell them. They may not know your organization and they haven't visited your program or met your participants. If something is important to the quality of your program, make sure you describe it. Think of the application as an opportunity to show how your program puts quality intergenerational practice into action. Okay, let's get started. Before filling out the online application, we strongly recommend completing the Word version first. It makes it easier to save your work, collaborate with colleagues, and gather information from the people who know different parts of the program. Now, before you begin writing, consider which designation is the best fit for your program. Generations United offers two levels of recognition, Program of Merit and Program of Distinction. Neither designation is better than the other. They recognize programs at different stages of development and capacity. Some programs of merit go on to become programs of distinction as their programs grow, strengthen their practices, and build evidence of their impact. If your program is newer or still building areas such as evaluation, sustainability, or leadership in the field, Program of Merit may be the most appropriate designation. If your program demonstrates innovation, shares lessons learned with others, has strong evaluation practices, and has well-established systems supporting long-term success, Program of Distinction may be the right fit. The most important goal is to select the designation that best reflects your program today. Review the criteria for each designation before you begin so you can respond with the appropriate level of detail and evidence. As you write, keep these four principles in mind. First, be specific. Whenever possible, replace general statements with concrete examples. Instead of writing youth help plan activities, explain what that looks like. Do youth serve on an advisory council? Do they vote on activity ideas? Do they co-facilitate events? Second, answer every part of the question. Many questions ask about several different topics. Make sure you've addressed each one before moving on. Third, show your work. If your program values accessibility, cultural responsiveness, participant leadership, or evaluation, explain how those values are put into practice. And finally, remember the reviewer. As you're writing, ask yourself, if someone had never heard of my program before, would they understand what we do and why it matters? The program overview section lays the foundation for your application. Reviewers should come away understanding what your program does, why it exists, and how intentionally it is designed. They should also be able to see how your activities connect to your goals and to the context of the community you serve. Think of your program description as your elevator pitch. In just 150 words, reviewers should understand who you serve, what you do, and what makes your program intergenerational, why it matters. Program mission and details. This is where you move beyond the summary and help reviewers understand the complete picture of your program. Don't make reviewers connect the dots. If your activities support your mission and your goals connect to your community, make sure those ties are explicit. Also, reviewers want to understand how you create a program where participants feel welcomed, respected, and able to participate fully. Depending on your program, that may include recruitment practices, accessibility, language access, staff and participant preparation, culturally responsive programming, community partnerships. Concrete examples are more helpful than broad statements. Strong applications help reviewers understand the needs and opportunities that shape the program. Describe what you identified in your community, how you identified or assessed it, and how it influenced your program's design. You might draw from surveys, reports, focus groups, community planning meetings, or conversations with participants and partners. Every community is different. Help reviewers understand how your program builds on community strengths and opportunities and responds to the priorities and challenges of the people you serve. Local conditions such as transportation, culture, geography, available partners, and other community priorities may all shape program design. Reviewers want to see that your program is grounded in its community rather than applying a one size fits all approach. The program participant section focuses on who participates, why you've chosen those participants, how they're prepared and supported, and how they contribute to the program. Meaningful participation is a hallmark of quality intergenerational programming. Strong applications show how younger and older participants help shape programming, provide ideas, take leadership roles, solve problems together, and provide feedback. In recruitment, don't just tell reviewers who participates. Explain why you've selected those participant groups. Help reviewers understand that the participation is intentional. Reviewers don't just want to know whether preparation or training occurs. Describe how often preparation occurs, when it is relevant to your program. Explain what participants learn, who provides it, and why it's important to successful intergenerational interaction. If participants receive orientation on communication, confidentiality, cultural humility, dementia awareness, trauma informed care, or age related expectations, describe those efforts. Think broadly about accessibility. It isn't only physical access. Consider barriers related to transportation, language, technology, culture, cost, or other factors that might affect participation. Supports such as interpreters, multilingual materials, adaptive technology, stipends, or scheduling changes may help address those barriers. Tell reviewers how your program addresses the barriers relevant to the people you serve. The program activities. This is where reviewers picture your program in action. Rather than listing activities, tell the story of one or two examples. Reviewers should almost feel like they're watching your program. One of the biggest misconceptions is that simply bringing different generations together is enough. Reviewers are looking for meaningful interaction. Ask yourself, could this activity happen without generations interacting? If the answer is yes, explain how you've intentionally built interaction into the experiences. Help reviewers see how the activity creates relationship building, shared learning, or another meaningful intergenerational experience. Strong applications demonstrate mutual benefit. Avoid describing one generation only as helpers and the other only as recipients. Instead, explain what both generations contribute and what both generations gain. That's a defining characteristic of high quality intergenerational programming. And show how participants have a voice. Describe how younger and older participants help shape the activities, offer ideas, provide feedback, take leadership roles, or otherwise influence the program. Sustainability is about more than funding. Reviewers are looking for the organizational support and capacity that help an intergenerational program succeed over time, including leadership support, partnerships, community engagement, planning, collaboration, and staff development. When discussing staff training, focus on the training that helps staff deliver high quality intergenerational programming. Ask what staff need to understand about the generations they work with, what skills help them facilitate meaningful interaction, and how training responds to your participants and program design. We sometimes see applications that focus primarily on general organizational or required employee training. Reviewers are particularly interested in how staff are prepared to work effectively across generations and support your specific participants and activities. Explain how often training occurs, who participates, what topics are covered, how the training strengthens your intergenerational practice, and how staff help shape future training. Strong applications help reviewers understand not just what training staff receive, but how that training contributes to program quality. Evaluation does not have to mean university level research. Reviewers want to understand the story your evaluation tells. What are you trying to achieve? How do you know whether it's working? What have you learned, and how are you using what you learn to strengthen your program? Start with your targeted outcomes. Because this is an intergenerational program, make sure reviewers can see the intended outcomes for both generations. Applicants sometimes provide strong evidence of benefits for one generation, but say very little about what changes for the other. Quality intergenerational programs are intentional about the benefits for younger and older participants. Next, help reviewers understand how you know whether you're achieving those outcomes. How do you measure outcomes? How do you collect information? And what tools do you use? You might use surveys, interviews, observations, participant stories, attendance or engagement information, or other tools appropriate to your program. The method should connect to the outcomes you are trying to understand. Then describe how you're actually using the information. Did you change an activity, adjust recruitment practices, create new partnerships, strengthen your training, or secure additional funding? Evaluation isn't just about collecting data, it's about learning from what you find, using that knowledge to build stronger programs and create deeper, more meaningful impact across generations. Supporting documents help reviewers better understand your program. Choose material that reinforce what you've already described. Reviewers have found documents like a needs assessment, an evaluation summary, or a link to a video of participants particularly helpful. Quality is much more important than quantity. And then final check. Before submitting your application, ask yourself, have I answered every part of every question? Did I include specific examples? Would someone unfamiliar with my program understand what we do and why? Have I shown meaningful interaction and mutual benefit? Have I described intended outcomes for both younger and older participants? And have I explained how our practices strengthen the quality of the intergenerational program? Thank you for taking the time to apply for Generations United Intergenerational Program Certification. We appreciate the work you are doing to strengthen connections across generations, and we look forward to learning more about your program.